Hello and welcome to the Hopecast with Rachael Flick. Rachael is a speaker, inspirational author, and an overcomer. As Rachael is walking through her own journey of grief, she's challenging others to persevere and overcome their own circumstances. Find out more at rachelflick.com. Here now is your host, Rachael Flick.
Hi, friends. Oh my gosh, we made it. It's 2021. The 2020 is in the past. You made it through. You did the holidays. You spent time with or without your family, depending on how things changed because of COVID. And you survived the very bad, no good year, which shall not be named. And today, my friend Yvette, Maher, and I are going to talk about the vision for the future. I know that we all talked about that back in 2020, about how this was the year and we had 2020 vision, and then we all regretted it. It's kind of like we jinxed it a little bit. But this year, guys, it's not 2020. We made it. Okay, so Yvette and I today are going to talk about vision casting, vision boarding, things that are in our path and obstacles and how we can remove them. Yvette is an incredible woman, one of my favorite on the planet, if I'm truthful. She is the one who introduced me to Debbie Gerbinick. So if you haven't heard my episode with Debbie Gerbinick about surviving the holidays, you can go back a few episodes and listen to that. There's some really good takeaways, even though it was specifically about Thanksgiving and Christmas. So Yvette introduced me to Debbie, and we actually went away a few weeks ago on a retreat, and we did some vision boarding, and we talked about obstacles that were in our path, and we ate good food, and we laughed a lot, and we spent time together and just shared in community and relationships. And that's what I want you guys to have in your life too, are those relationships and the community and the gift that they are. So let me just plug Yvette really fast. This woman has done all the things. She is a mom of 3 and a grandmom of 9 with 1 on the way. She is the wife of Tommy, who is a fabulous cook, if you ever get to find that out personally for him. She worked at Focus on the Family for such a long time at New Life Church here in the Springs. She has written a book. She is an incredible leader, and she is a fellow Enneagram 8. I don't know how I get these women in my life. How do you get so many 8s and female 8s? Supposedly we're like the leprechaun or the unicorn of the Enneagram, and yet they're in my life. So she is just as fabulous as you would imagine her to be. Thank you so much, Yvette. Welcome.
Wow. Okay, that's quite the buildup.
I know, right?
I mean, really. Can we bring it down
Expectations,
and just go, okay,
turn the volume down?
I literally got into my car on a cold Colorado day, barefoot, holding my socks in one hand, my shoes in the other hand, my purse, my bag, all the things, everything, got in my car. Oh, there's no keys. Back into the house I go, grab the keys, come back. So I just got to put a little bit of humanity and reality on that beautiful introduction. But thank you. It is such a pleasure to get to be with you because, one, I crazy love you. I crazy love you. And we could just talk about that. But truly, I have such a respect for what you're doing and how you're doing it, this thing called life. And you are walking the talk of exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And that is to bravely dream about something in front of you that's out there that might be bigger than you could have ever asked or imagined. And you said, Lord, will you be that lamp unto my feet and that light unto my path, Lord? Is that from you? Because if it's from you, give me the courage to boldly, in my Enneagram 8 or whatever the number is, to boldly step into a dream that needs some framework put on it and some steps and intentionality.
Yes.
And girlfriend, you're doing it. So thank you. That's what we get to talk about.
I know. I love that. I think that that's such an important thing to bring forward, is that dreaming is risky. It's scary, right? When we do these vision boards, I felt that. When we're in the magazine and the glue sesh, I feel that where I'm oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful picture, or that's a really big thing, or can I really become a better money manager, like I'm representing in my vision board, and I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to tell people about it. Like there are people who know that I've said that I've set my intention to get better at this, or that I want this in my life. And that is so risky and so
put it
vulnerable.
out there. There's going to be judgment. There's going to be hopefully some accountability from people who love you and know you and do it in a respectful way. But I think truly too, you just hit on something that's so important. What is it that we keep, I'm looking at you across a table right now. What is it that we keep under the table and in the dark that we're too afraid? Because what if people see it and I bring it out here and I say, ta-da, look what I want a dream to do or to be. Wow.
Because people can step on that.
Yes.
They can come out and they can just squash it
Yes.
and squash our hearts in the process.
Yes. But Scripture tells us, bring these things into the light.
Yeah.
Bring these things from under the table, if you will, by faith, and trust Him with them. So I love that you're doing that, because you're doing it. You're really doing it. But,
Thank you.
You know, you talked about the session on vision boarding from the weekend that we got to do together called Wayfinder.
Wayfinder Journey.
And Wayfinder has just been an incredible opportunity for Debbie and I to help guide women in the intentionality. And that's a big word, you know, that we need to capture in the intentional journey of discovering their identity, defining the roadblocks, and designing a vision forward. That's the mission of Wayfinder. And there's so many things to unpack even in that. But when women feel stuck in life, and they feel stuck in their dreams, or they feel stuck in even imagining what the future could be, and we have a lot of components that we could break down that causes us to be stuck.
And maybe we'll get into that.
Yeah, to be able to say, what are those roadblocks that we hit that just shuts us down? Like, I can't even dream forward. I don't even want to imagine. So back to that vision boarding session.
And Yvette and I are looking at my vision boards, by the way. Like, we're both pointing to them and referencing them, and you guys can't see them, but I wanted them fresh in my mind for our conversation today.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. But they, like everything, start out with a clean slate. Right?
Yes.
Those vision boards are basically a piece of white poster board. So anyone who's listening to this and you're thinking, what are they talking about? We'll talk about that a little bit. But a white piece of paper poster board staring at you that's supposed to, like in the next couple of hours, which is what we do at our Wayfinder retreat weekends, we spend literally a few hours with that white poster board staring at us, but then dreaming about, my goodness, where's this going to take me? What are we going to put on this? Is it supposed to be perfect? That's a roadblock.
Yep.
Is it supposed to be creative? Well, that's not me. And we do all these things, and we have all these tapes in our heads that start shutting us down before we even start to dream and imagine what
it's
the future
hard.
could be.
You have to really like release and press forward. It's so interesting when we do these projects and you just watch people, and Yvette and Debbie, like, they lay out the magazines in stacks kind of in a category, and they play some music and they prep you get all set up, and then you're just left with your inner narrative, right? Which is what Yvette is talking about, and all of these competing ideas and these stories that you're telling yourself, and you could get stuck there, but you see these other people doing this alongside of you, and you know, they're ripping, they're tearing, they're cutting, they're paging through, and so you're like, okay, I can do this, you know. But you're right, like just the blank piece of cardboard is kind of intimidating. And I think that is such a great picture, because you said, you know, I'm dreaming forward. And when I lost Micah, all the things, like, I had my vision board, you know, and I had the porch and the grandchildren and, you know, the 60-year anniversary. Those were all on my vision board with him, and all of that got wiped off. And in many ways, with a few exceptions, I had to start with a clean slate. And part of the grief is that things that you loved and things that you wanted, they're lost, you know, and that's what we experienced with 2020. With so much pain that we had, was the things that we thought that would happen, you know, or that we planned for or dreamed about in January, just fell on their faces in March. And so we all were trying to pick up the pieces. And so tell us a little bit more about just kind of just bring us into it, right? Like people haven't heard of this. The other thing that I wanted to run as like a subline alongside of vision boarding is something I do with the word of the year.
Yes.
And that I let the Lord theme my years. So this year, my word is release. And I'm really excited because every year the Lord teaches me something through that. And I see that connected to the vision board. And that's a different practice. And you can like, bullet all that out and get a scripture and like talk to a mentor or friend about all of those things. But that's something that I weave through when I'm pulling out those pictures. So I just wanted to mention that.
Love that.
That we could pull those alongside of each other because that's something that I'm thinking about for 2021. So tell us how we get started. Like, what is this about? How does this help us? Why do people who've never vision boarded before, what are they going to get out of this?
Well, I want to piggyback on something you just said, because you just gave a great illustration. You have a word for this year, a fresh dream, desire, hope in your heart.
Yes.
That you've put out there. That's what we've just been talking about.
Just dropped it.
Like you just threw it right out.
Everybody
Okay, now
has.
when I hear and see and think Rachael, I'm going to think, okay, wonder how she's doing. Wonder if she's releasing. Wonder if she's doing that. So check.
Love.
Beautiful. But let me ask you a question if I can turn the table here
turn the
for a
tables.
second. What was your 2020 word? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. So the Lord does this where it's like kind of flips it on its head, but it was companionship.
Interesting.
In a year where we were isolated and didn't have our community and our friends around us. And, I look forward to like journaling and kind of being like, what did the Lord teach me through that? But it was almost like showing me in a time when we were in quarantine, what does it look like to have true relationship? And how do you cultivate that when it's not naturally available to you?
Wow. I love that. But in order for us to move forward, we have to be intentional about stopping and looking backwards, looking to our past a little bit, because one, it helps us to identify those false narratives, those things that's going to get us stuck. But another is I think it's really helpful to go back a bit. That's why I asked you, what was last year's word and how'd that play for you? Because you can go back and see how the Lord was there, how it didn't turn out exactly like what you thought. I have to just tell you, funny, my 2020 word last year was prepare, which is the craziest word ever.
Gives me
That's
chills.
never been my, I kept just going, I must be making this up. Like, Lord, I wanted, a word, and it kept coming up, and like somebody would say something like, oh, you just need to be prepared. And I'd be like, Lord, is that you again? So I just kind of hung my hat on the word is prepare. Oh, wow. Little did I know.
Little did you
with fear and
know.
trepidation was
Oh, my
like, am I
goodness.
supposed to be preparing for something? Am I supposed to be prepared for something? What am I supposed to do? Does this mean I have to go clean out my closet? Like what? But now in hindsight, I see the beautiful thread that the Lord was weaving and has woven through the story of 2020 in so many ways. So I'll be bold like you, sister.
You know your
And
word already?
I'm going to say I think I do,
Okay.
but I'm still trying it on like my shoes and see if they fit and are comfortable. Abide. My word, I think, that I'm hanging on to right now is abide. I'm praying about it and just asking the Lord to just, kind of confirm that with me. But I'm a little excited about going that direction, and what does that mean, and what does that look like, and how am I going to wear this in my daily?
Right.
But all that to say, when we look to the future and we dream about things, we do have to take an account of where are my, I'll call them potholes. Where are the potholes that I'm going to hit that's just going to totally, jack me up? There's a great C.S. Lewis quote that I just love. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. And I love that when we talk about vision boards, because what's my intentionality going to be right now? And looking back at those potholes, it's like, oh, I remember. I remember that route has those potholes, so I don't want to hit them again.
Ideally.
I'm going to take
Drive
a
around
different
them.
route. Yes. Or I'm going to be aware of that's either going to be a trigger for me. It's going to be a roadblock for me. It's going to get me to a place where I really do feel stuck. And so in looking at the past in the rear view mirror, it's safe to look there. You have to glance there. But when you're driving forward, you cannot keep your eyes in the rear view mirror looking behind you. You must take in that windshield view that says where we're going and how we're going to get there. And so when we do Wayfinder Retreat weekends, the vision boards are just a tool.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's both a tool to help you to get creative, but it's also an instrument that we use to just frankly settle you down.
Right.
We're women, we're
Here's
crazy, we're busy, we're multitasking,
Yes.
what all, all the things. And this just forces us, invites us into a space. And so we intentionally put on instrumental music. We have beautiful instrumental music, not lyrics, because like most of us, we can bunny trail, hey, there's my favorite song. Let me start singing that. We truly believe that just a couple of hours, like 3 hours, seems like a long time. But
is it 3 hours?
It's 3 hours.
Did we do 3 hours?
It's 3 hours.
Oh my gosh, that just evaporated.
To sit in, to be in space with, and to just allow your everything, your sights, your smells, your sounds. We do say, hey, get your favorite, if you want some coffee or some tea or hot chocolate, whatever your beverage is. Get your fun, comfortable clothes on. Get your yoga pants, your jamma pants, whatever, your fun socks.
Settle in.
And settle in. We don't give ourselves permission to do that very often. So we really, at the Wayfinder retreats, we make it a point to get you all cozied up, snuggled in, but that blank white canvas, if you will, we ask you to just spend some time and to pray about and to think about, for example, some questions. And I will read over questions. If you'll recall, I was asking you just some prompting questions about if you want to feel this way, what are you going to have to do differently? If you want to have a different outcome, what are some things right now that may be burdening you or causing you to feel frustrated? A lot of times we talk about the visual I love with women is we have to put our oxygen mask on first before assisting others. And we typically, as women, we try to assist everybody else and everything else. And so one of the things too that we try to do is to say, what are those dreams in your heart? What are those things that you haven't had a chance to just plow through? So that's why the magazine. So we do make these big old piles of everything from food magazines and travel magazines and Better Homes and Gardens
GQ,
and Pretty GQ. We have
Rachael
politics.
Ray, all the
we have
things.
Sports. We have different things. Pets. To just say, hey, come up here, grab a few magazines, maybe 6 or 7 of them, and don't get stuck and overthink it. I say often, analysis paralysis. Don't get stuck.
Perfectionism paralyzes.
Don't think, okay, I can't make a vision board because it may not look right, or how is it supposed to look? Are they just supposed to be words or pictures or what? And so, we give this instruction that says, just start ripping through magazines.
Just start.
Turn
It's
the
okay.
page.
If you don't end up using that picture, it's okay.
Exactly.
Like,
make your piles.
I feel like when I'm doing it, I just look like it's almost like these little pings that you would hear or a light that shines on that. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even know why I like that right now. I'm not choosing that picture because, that's going to be somebody in my life, or I'm going to make that casserole that's in this picture, but something about it is drawing me to it. So I'm not going to ask questions. I'm going to rip it out. I'm going to set it in my pile. I'm going to keep going. So
and that's
keep going while you're building it.
That's the beauty. You just said it. Don't overthink it. Make a pile and just keep going. Tear them out. And then we take a little pause at our Wayfinder retreat and we say, okay, you've got your pile, you've got your glue stick, you have some scissors. Now let's come back and start looking at what do you want to be in the center of that. And sometimes when we do these vision boards, we'll say, hey, leave a space in the center to put a picture of you.
Interesting.
Put a picture of your family, or put a picture of something that goes right in the center. Because the instructions that we leave you with at the end of this beautiful vision board is that we want you to put this somewhere in a prominent space or a private space.
Yeah.
I know I've lined my closet walls
mine's
with
in my
vision
closet
boards.
too, so every time I get dressed.
Exactly. So you can look at it and be reminded. And it's not some crazy new agey thing, but it could go there because there are a lot of things.
If we're talking about intent and drawing things to ourselves, that's not really what we're doing here.
No. But it is walking by a faith that says, Lord, that sparked in my heart. That picture, that word, that scene did something, like you just said, Rachael. Why is that there? It allows us a visual. I'm looking at yours right now. It allows us a visual picture or a creative way to say, Father, what am I supposed to do with this? How can I look at this and believe by faith or prayerfully walk out something that I have only seen in my mind's eye, but now I see in front of me? Give me one thing off your picture. Like, tell me one thing that jumps when you look down at your vision board, Rachael.
Okay, so the thing that I've been really thinking through, I put this word or this phrase called essential luxury. And I mean, that's kind of like out there, right? But for me, things that feel luxurious fill my heart. They give me energy. They're a buffer. Like, I make my home beautiful because it's a safe place to land, and it's a safe place for my children and my friends. And so that's something that I put on my board that I want to continue to build into my life. And it's not that it would be luxurious for everyone, but it's those things that are special to me.
One of the phrases that while we're doing vision boards together, and I will say things to you as you're doing them, is dream beyond the possibilities. Dreaming beyond the possibilities. And Mark 10, I think 27 says, with God, everything is possible. Nothing is impossible with God. And to dream beyond the possibilities allows you, what you just said, those things that capture your heart, that you think, I can't accomplish this.
No.
But with God, what can I do? And sometimes it's, I've seen a lot of vision boards doing this. And I don't know. Do you have a beach picture on yours somewhere?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I've got a girl riding her bike.
Pretty much 100%. Pretty much 100%. Yes, 100% of us want to go somewhere. If we live in cold Colorado, we need to go, please, can I just have some warmth? Can I just have a beach? Can I just have that place? Can I have that thing? When you lose your why, you lose your way.
Say that again.
When you lose your why, you lose your way. And sometimes our escaping forces us, when we can escape mentally in vision boarding, when we have to force ourselves to go, but why do I want to go to the beach? Why do I want? Say your words again. Your essential luxury. Why? If I drilled on you the 5 whys and made you answer that, there's 5 whys.
You've got to tell us the 5 whys.
Okay. All right. We're going to drill deeper on the 5 whys.
Okay. Yes. We'll do that on our next episode. So finish up so we've got the magazines. We make the stack. Mine, you always ask, did you go to pictures or words first? Like, what's that teaching us about the brain and our process?
It's actually connecting left brain, right brain activities together. That's also another great reason to set aside time, because you're thinking and then you're going over to the other side, to your right brain, to create it. And then you're having to go back to your left side of your brain to sort of analyze it and figure it out. And then at the end of this, you've actually done a beautiful combination of both. Very therapeutic.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how other people do it. I feel like the pictures and the words pop up to me in the same way. It was so interesting. Last year's vision board has a picture of the White House on it. And I was like, what's that about? And then I was appointed to the Law Enforcement Transparency and Accountability Commission in Colorado Springs after everything that happened in our nation and culturally. And it was like, oh, I understand that there was a draw there that I couldn't even put words to. And something that I feel like is a gift in me is a gift of prayer and intercession. And the word that I put over the White House was the watchman. And so to see how everything has woven together, right? Like, because I'm looking at last year's vision board and I'm looking at this year's vision board and kind of seeing my growth process and what was important to me and how those words, were connected, because you don't just take a picture with words, right? Like you're like, oh, like, how I talked about essential luxury. And then I put it, like with a picture of a vacation trip or something. Like, you're really weaving together this image, idea, dream, vision, right? Like vision,
Absolutely.
I'm using a lot of words to say vision because we're vision boarding. And then this other piece of you is almost weaving in words and explanations for that. Yeah. So maybe I could put some links on the show notes for you guys to find examples of vision boards, because I think it's nice to see other people's. It's so, just to watch the other women at the retreat and how their vision boards looked so different from mine. So different.
Right.
Just in
Beautifully
design,
different.
beautifully different.
Unique.
Yes. And how each one represented them. And I would have never thought to put my vision board together that way. And that was so innate in them. And that's what's so beautiful about it, is that you end up representing a part of yourself that you don't even realize is unique to the other people that you're doing it alongside with. And that's just a special understanding that I felt like I had. So, okay, so we've made the board and then we told you guys how to do it. Ideally, you would do this with a group of friends, mentors. Maybe you'll have coffee or wine. You will not have your children. You will not have responsibilities. You will have white space carved out on your calendar.
Yes.
You'll have your supplies, and then you're ripping and you're tearing and you're gluing. And then on the next week's episode, we're going to talk about processing that. We're going to talk about the 5 whys. I've never heard this. I can't wait. And we're going to talk about kind of what some of the benefits and why do you want to do this? Because you really do. You have to be intentional. Yvette said that. You have to be intentional, just like we were. We were hugely intentional to get away for the Wayfinder Journey retreat.
Yes.
It was so fruitful and lovely and restful for my heart. But like when you were packing and, putting your dog at the kennel and making sure your house, like, you're like, is it worth it? Do I keep doing this thing? So we're going to tell you why it's worth doing the thing on next week's episode. So come and join us. This was really awesome. So much good conversation and takeaways. You can get started between now and then and go get your supplies. And so then after next week, you'll be ready to rock and roll. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations on 2021. We made it. And we will see you next week here on the Hopecast with Rachael Flick.
You've been listening to the Hopecast with Rachael Flick. To find out more, go to rachelflick.com. While you are there, you can book Rachael for your next speaking engagement. Her inspiring message will be sure to engage and touch the heart of your audience at your next conference, church event, or business function. Go to rachelflick.com to book her today. While you're online, you can discover more information about all of the platforms that this podcast is on. If you listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave us a review. To follow Rachael on social media, simply click on the social media icons at the top of the page and you will be directed to those sites. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time for another edition of the Hopecast with Rachael Flick.